All right, people, I'm really enjoying the process of dialing in the Brewster car. Now, I didn't have a really fun time until I finally found the right combo to polish the thing. But now I'm kind of working on the wheels. And what I'm going to do here today on video is I'm just going to go through this one wheel well, tire, the whole thing, all in one fell swoop. So rather than me, a lot of times I've made so many of these darn wheel coating videos, it gets kind of redundant and boring. And so I'm going to shoot this one 60 frames a second. So screw you, WABA. I'm shooting this in 60 frames a second, and I'm just going to kind of take you through the whole process of one wheel from start to finish. I'm going to do 2 coats of armor or detail supplies, which my friend Bradley Nielsen owns Naples Auto Armor. And he's been working diligently with a coating manufacturer in I think Southeast Asia somewhere, because Deluxe is nice, but most of the wheel coatings are pretty underwhelming, and I think he's tried the vast majority of them. I've tried a bunch of them. Most of them I find don't work very well. And so I'm testing out his coating, so I'm going to put 2 coats of that on here, and I'm going to do the calipers as well. I've already kind of pre-cleaned the tires. I'm going to clean the back and front side of the tires, and then we're going to coat the wheel wells with another new product to me, Vonix Car Care out of Brazil. You Brazilians know this product really well. I think Vonix kind of owns the country of Brazil, and Tiago has imported or brought it up from there to the U.S. So they're bringing more and more of the products. You saw me test out the wheel cleaner the other day. Just some interesting products to try out. I think they own their own chemical blending and manufacturing facility, and so I'm disappointed. I was busy the last few days, but actually the owner of Vonix was up here, and I didn't get a chance to meet him. I wish I did. So maybe we'll cross paths in the future, make a video. So let's get the wheel off. Let's get it on our wheel stand here. So I got my little setup right here with the Source Garage. And my friend at the Source Garage just kind of called it quits. He has a real job, and so I think he's called it quits on manufacturing these things. And so I haven't talked to him, but Tommy's been talking to him about the possibility of us buying the IP or something like that. I don't know how much he wants for it. I don't want to pay a lot for it, but yeah. So but anyway, I'm going to use the wheel stand. I don't think we have any more left. So we'll figure that out at some point in the future. So let's get the wheel off of here and let's get to work. So this car, I've really been taking my time with. I'm ready to drive it. I've been really struggling with driving lately, so I've just been enjoying the ownership part of the car. And one of my good friends, if you don't follow, I think he goes by, Robert Linton, Lanton on Instagram, to watch some of his crazy Porsche stuff. But he always inspires me, some of the crazy Porsche stuff he's doing. And I kind of feel like this car is not at his level, but this to me is what the car means. It's like, I want to take this car to a different level than what I've done before. And part of it is maybe not messing with it quite as much, although I just bought those darn Focal stuff. But I want it to be like a certain standard. And so taking my time was really important in that. I even found myself today saying, I don't really feel like I'm going to knock out these wheels. I don't really feel like making a video. I really don't feel like doing the wheel wells. I'm like, are you nuts? I mean, I've spent this much time on it. Let's just continue the process, do one wheel at a time, and enjoy this ownership experience, especially if I theoretically intend to have this car for a while, maybe a long while. I don't want to say forever, because we all know that probably won't happen. But I am taking better care of this than other cars, mainly because I'm just not making as many mistakes as I've had in the past, because you live and learn, you grow, and you learn what to do and what not to do. So let's get the wheel off here. Got all my gear set up here, ready to go. Gloves, optimal paste, this thing, this. I'm telling you, if you own a Porsche, just freaking go to obsessgarage.com, and I'm telling you, buy this thing right now. I know it's $5,000, I know I can't justify it, bull crap. If you can afford $100,000+ car, you can spend $5 grand on the most amazing tool I've ever owned. Let's make sure I'm loosened. Just it's amazing. I'm telling you, I'm here on the weekend. There's no one here to hold the brake. And now I have a little system where I use a clamp that I can do it myself, but then the wheel wants to turn, so really you need a second person to hold the brake, hold the wheel, and then you always run the risk of knocking your darn mirror off. You know, I've taken wheels off probably 50 or 60, maybe 100 times over the, let's see, 2014. So, you know, I'm coming up on 10 years of GT3 ownership, center lock ownership, eight years, something like that. But I'm telling you, having this tool is just so much better. It's more accurate, it's safer, it's simpler, it's easier. You don't need a second person to help you out. If you plan on having a GT car, even if you don't, you'll easily be able to sell it for 90% of what you paid for it. So if you own one, just order the tool. It's amazing. I'd really appreciate it if you bought it from me. This is I don't think he's making these anymore, but this is CNC out of Delrin plastic, a dense plastic. And this was Ed, who goes by Smokin' GTS on the forum. I haven't seen him around the forum, but I don't spend much time on there anymore. So I'm not sure if he's still doing these. I don't think he is. I haven't seen any post about it for several years. I think he's a retired engineer and really didn't have any aspirations to make a bunch of these things. But the nice thing about this is I can just protect my carbon ceramic and not damage it. What a beautiful setup here. If you take a look, the suspension, so this is my first, what's wrong with this light? It's brand new. I haven't had any problems with these. I'm gonna have to send this in because this one doesn't work. It was on the charger the whole time. Check this thing out. Interesting little plastic spring perch that this can support all of the tension. It's just a black plastic, you know, kind of louvered spring support, and then you have your height adjustability here, and there's like, just from stock, there's a helper spring, a really small, like a single coil helper spring up here. But the double wishbone, you know, the wishbone suspension in the front, really interesting design difference. I mean, this is one of the main reasons why the 992 is superior to the 991 stuff and handling performance. But no axle lift. So this is the first GT Porsche that I've gotten without an axle lift. I find that I've never really needed the axle lift, or very rarely, other than maybe putting it on the trailer, which I can overcome by simply putting ramps to get on the trailer. But I don't intend on this car going on the trailer much. It'll go on once to go down to get PPF, and then I'm not tracking this. This is not a mountain car for me. I'm in search of a mountain car, either a GT4 RS or a I think that the two cars I'd like to get, GT4 RS and a 16, like a 991.1 GT3 RS. Those are the two main cars I'm pursuing. I don't think I'm gonna get a 997 RS. I mean, I have one that we're gonna do a giveaway on, but I don't think at least I'm not gonna chase one now. All right, so first step is I'm gonna clean I don't think I can turn this. Yeah, I'd need to prop it up if I wanted to turn it. You know what, I think I'm gonna prop it up just for the camera so I can spin it around for you. Normally I wouldn't care. This is kind of a messy endeavor in that, you know, you get dirt and stuff falling off your tires. There we go. But this little setup here with the Sonic cart And the source garage thingy really serves me well. Ignore those red cabinets in the background. There's some cabinets we're thinking about, not red obviously, but working on prototyping a mid-tier cabinet line, which is exciting. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the optimal paste out of the center here. So we'll just throw a little stoners on a towel. And I didn't do this on the other front wheel and kept getting it on my coating towel. Stuff gets everywhere. Yeah. Procedure calls to reapply anyway. Let's just get this all off. So step one, we're going to clean this really well. Actually, step one, I'm going to prep the tires. I like to do the tires first because you tend to hit the face of the wheel and just kind of smear it on. Okay, that's nice and clean. So let's turn this around. Let's denib. I already denibbed the fronts when I first got the car. I just couldn't stomach it. I knew it was going to take me a while to get to this point. And so I just take a little razor blade and denib. Cut the little nibs off here. I know you think I'm nuts, but once you go denibbed, it's hard to go back. And yeah, we don't see the back side, so this is a bit ridiculous, but whatever. Think what you want. So my go-to wheel coating has been, and this is saying a lot, Bradley is very discerning, and so I'm trusting him here. He says the wheel coating, of all the things he's developed, the wheel coating is the most legit. So just to sort of preview how this works, if you're not a chemist, you're not a blender, what you do is you work with a company and they send you a product, or you tell them what you think you want. And so then the chemist, hopefully you can talk with the chemist. You say, here's what I think I want this to do. So then they can kind of pull from their recipe book and their memory banks and their experience and say, okay, I think we know what you're talking about. And so then they make it and they send you one and you try it out. And this is the hard part. The trying out part, especially on a coating, takes a lot of time. It's not an easy thing to just slap it on there. It's a big process. And then how do you test it out? So what's your testing criteria? I'm not sure what he did, but I'm trusting him that he did lots of testing. And so I think he's been working on this for a few years. I'm gonna get this. This is leftover soap from the factory application. Let's get it off the edge of the wheel here. Spraying a little stoners. Be careful with this if you have any kind of matte wheels. Be careful with stoners because it can stain it. So you want to be careful if you have like a satin black or something like that. You just don't want to get the overspray on it ever. So anyway, they send you the product, you try it out, and you say, I don't like this or that, and then they send it back, and then they try it out, and they send it back, and you keep going through that process. And so the struggle with that is that even if you do that, you still have very, very low probability. You might get what you want as a developer of the product, but the chances of you catching lightning in a bottle and you having like the greatest chemist in history of a specific product you're chasing is like slim to none. So we'll see how this does. And I'll keep you posted, but I won't know until I wash the car 10 times or so on how it holds up. Now, I'm also not giving you a full fair analysis because this car is going to be babied, and this car is going to have, or has, carbon ceramics. So take my analysis for what it's worth in your particular situation. All right, so next step is I'm going to do a surface cleaning, because there is some dirt on these. Even though these are, I'd washed the car and they're clean, there is some dirt on them. And so I'm going to clean with eraser first, and then I'm going to follow with panel wipe. So I got a couple of multi-purpose towels, and we'll do the initial wipe down. The reason why I do this first, eraser has, I forget what it has in it, but eraser is more, aids with a little bit of lubrication. And then I'm going to follow with the more heavy, or the heavier concentrated isopropyl alcohol solution in GT3 panel wipe, because I'm not doing like a traditional decon here because these are new. I mean, it has been driven a bit, you know, on probably the test track or however they do this, and then, you know, the dealership takes it down the block to, you know, wake up the ECU and all of that. So this does have a little bit of dirt on it, but not enough to really warrant doing a full, you know, clay bar decontamination. So instead of getting the clay out and all that, I just go through this two-step process of using a mild prepper. Oh shoot, I was supposed to clean the wheels first. It's all right. We're not going to spray directly on the tire anyway. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to clean the tires first, I should say. So anyway, I like to go through this process of the simple, mild alcohol solution, and then do a much more aggressive to kind of prep it to accept my coating. And that's generally the process I go through, because most of the time when I'm coating wheels, they're new. It seems that I haven't, this thing move on me? I haven't had a car long enough to need to reapply a coating. Or I've only had to do that a few times. But I have bought some used cars, but even the used cars end up getting a new set of wheels. So, yeah. These are kind of annoying to coat with these little pockets here, but not terrible. Okay, so then I'm going to take this beater towel. I've already cleaned one wheel with it. And take my stoners like this, spray it on the towel, making sure I'm not overspraying it on my car sitting next to it. Now these were dressed already, so I did stoners clean these and dress them, but I didn't do it off the car. Didn't do as good of a job as I normally do. So I used to try to spray this on the tire directly, but I found that this method is just safer. Just spray it directly on the towel. Flip the towel around a little bit. This towel will clean up okay, but I'm kind of sacrificing this. I mean, what are these towels? $2 or something like that. So I think it's worth the waste, if you will. Flip this around. On the back side, this is more what the tires look like when you get the car. I'm not too concerned with because I'm not going to dress this side, but it just seems like the right thing to do here. I'm telling you, stoners is like a magical formula for getting your tires to accept the tire dressing. Okay, so now let me get my surface prep, my panel wipe. So now this is GT3 panel wipe. Normally, like on regular painted surfaces, I wouldn't spray it directly on the surface, but I'm just gonna speedily go through this here. This stuff is nasty. really grabby, but it's a really great prep product to really ensure that you've got a nice clean surface ready to accept your coating, improve your odds of success. Prep is key in tire dressing application, in coating application, wax application, any kind of last step. The prep part is what sets you up for a successful application. And I can even feel it. The surface becomes a little grabby, which tells me there's nothing on it and it's ready to go, ready to accept. Okay. We put some gloves on. We'll set these prep towels aside. I've got my coating removal towels here. Probably should have put my gloves on from the very get-go, but wasn't thinking. Too worried about the camera. These gloves are awesome. Astro Grip. I gotta get these in the store. SAS Astro Grip. My favorite gloves, man. These things are great. They have like a little diamond grip pattern, but I find that my hands don't sweat as much in these. I have their regular black version, nitrile. You need nitrile rubber. You can't do latex. Latex, nitrile is not, a chemical isn't going to go through it. If you do latex, it's pointless. Then you end up with latex and whatever coating you're messing with on your darn fingers. And we'll set that aside. So here's the coating. Armor Detail Supply, which is Naples Auto Armor, is the parent, if you will. Bradley Nielsen's the guy. Is it Nilsson or Nielsen? Sorry, Bradley. Bradley. And first thing I noticed that I don't like, and I'm sure he's doing this for a reason, probably to keep the stability of the product, but I like bottles that I can see through. Because I'll take this bottle and I'll put it in the cabinet, there'll probably be some left over, and I want to be able to see if it's starting to get chunky. And so that's one note. I would like the bottle to be see-through. But some products, light can affect the stability, so maybe there's a reason for that. And then I also like the fact that he did a dropper, so there is a dropper in here, which is good. And then for wheels, I don't know if I love this, but I use a suede applicator because I keep trying all different types of applicators, and I keep coming back to this one. That thing, I need to, this is supposed to be up here. Must not have set the lock. I'll lock those in. Okay. So just like any coating on wheels, find your valve stem, start at the valve stem. So I'm going to start here, that way I know I'm ending here. Drop some product onto my applicator, and I'm going to apply. Just like any other coating. I don't know what the exact science is of reapplying to your pad, but just, you'll know. You'll know when you need to put more on. It's not very good instructing. Can't believe I'm putting a product that I haven't used on my beloved here. But I guess I'm not in love with Deluxe enough, so I'm willing to give it a go here on this. He's the one who turned me on to Deluxe. what was I using? CSL XO, but it doesn't last very long, especially on a daily driven car. CSL XO lasts like a couple of months on your wheels and calipers. Let's go back to our valve stem. Lie on the back side too. So I always do the barrel and the back side at the same time. And I did the other front wheel, so I did find that the product is pretty easy to apply in that I can do the whole section and not have to rush it. So by the time I get this done, then I'm ready to come back and wipe off. Now, I don't love, this is very similar to Deluxe, and maybe this is sort of a requirement for a coating to have like heat capability, or capability to be heated to higher temperatures for wheels and calipers. But it is a little grabbier than I like to wipe off. But once it's wiped, it is slick. I put that Optimum on the surface of my GT3 here, and man, I hate that it's still grabby like 5 days later. I'm testing out the theory of coating before PPF, because we need protection to protect the paint from the PPF protection, and then we'll put a layer of protection on top of the protected PPF, which has its own embedded layer of protection in it, and then we'll put a topper on top of that protection to protect that. It gets a bit ridiculous, but hey, it's fun. I like doing this. It's even more fun, like after we'll do this wheel together, and then I'll turn the camera off, and then I'll just chill here. And I love coming here on the weekend by myself. It's just super therapeutic for me. About the only thing that would be better is if I could friggin' drive, because I would go out for a Saturday morning drive somewhere and then come back over here and just piddle around the garage. It's my favorite frickin' thing to do. So now we're pretty slick. So I take the initial towel, and generally what I'll do is I have a second low pile towel just to be sure. Just come back over real quickly. Make sure I didn't miss any high spots. So you can see, application no different than any other. But I think we're on to something here. We'll see, water behavior, longevity, and all of that, but I'm certain he's got that figured out. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sent it to me. Because it's like suicide, at least for a certain subset of the audience. If I frickin' hate it, then it's probably not good for the product's future. So he's taking a risk. Because you guys know me, I'll frickin' tell it like it is. Just asked the rag company about the IK sprayer. That didn't go well for the IK sprayer. I freaking threw it in the woods. Yeah, so I didn't clean out that anti-seize on the other, and I just kept accidentally touching it and getting it on my pad or my applicator, making a mess. So it seemed to be okay, but what I'm doing here is I'm putting it on the wheel, wiping it off, going over to do the caliper, wiping that off, coming back, doing the second coat on the wheel, leveling that, and then go back to the caliper, so I'm doing it like right away instead of doing I'm taking one wheel off at a time, basically. So I'm only giving it maybe 30 minutes of setup time for the first coat versus second coat. I don't know if that may be a mistake, but I'm going to try it out because it is annoying to have to let it sit there for a day. But I think in a perfect world with any coating, if you have the choice, I think you'd be better served. Put a coat on, let it sit, or in like a semi-perfect situation, take all 4 wheels off, do the first wheel, work your way through, do the second, do the third, do the fourth, then go do your calipers. Then you're probably 2, 3, 4 hours later, then come back and apply your second coat and just follow that procedure. That way you're 2, 3, 4 hours in between. Would probably be ideal for your, because I may be kind of wasting my time on the second layer, but really I'm kind of viewing the second layer on this as a combination of hopefully a little more longevity, but also I'm sure I'm missing some spots. Hopefully I'm not, but to ensure that you're getting good even coverage. Yeah, so the initial wipe is a little grabby, but then it wipes slick, which is, I don't know, I like slick. Deluxe, very similar application, very similar feeling where it does end up kind of slick. I'm almost thinking I kind of want to top this with gliss, but I'm going to do this for this experiment. I'm going to stick with his wheel coating only. I'm not going to top it with anything. Okay, that looks good. Let's come back and just do our second wipe here real quickly. Let's make sure we get the face. Got to get this car off a lift because we got the Rivian last night, and so now I have access to Michelle's truck, so I want to swap the tires, check the brakes, and then send it out to get an alignment. Okay, so that's coat number 1. So let's flip our camera around and let's do the face first. I'm going to go straight to the aggressive surface prep. Got me a couple towels. I like to coat the rotor hat here. It just, you can see it. It helps to keep it from getting kind of water spotted, splotchy to some extent. Okay, and let's just turn this. Spray this. Sorry, you're stuck with my camera angles today because we're just doing a tripod self-shoot on a Saturday. You know what, I want to get in here too. Gosh, I love these black powder-coated calipers. Pretty. Simple. This is I'll get something louder, less gentleman-y to complement this, like a GT4 RS. But to me, this like 911, subdued 911 spec, this is my gentleman spec car. I need to get a Rolex. I'm gonna get a Starbucks. What is that? A 21660 LV, the green face, or no, black face, green dial. I want to get one of those for this. Where I'm driving this, it can look like a real grown up. Pretend that I'm not from the trailer park. Okay, so let's coat this, same stuff. So I'll do the caliper first since I have it turned here for me. Same exact application. Put it on. I'm going to do the whole caliper, the whole face of the rotor hat. Then we'll wipe it off, and then we're going to go do the second coat to the wheel, which is not even 30 minutes. Actually, before we do that, we're going to do the plastics in the fender well here. Yeah, so I know many of you getting angry with me about, just drive the thing. This is like my version of collecting something. I have a hard time with old stuff. I've been trying to do that, like the E36 or the 997. And it's hard to, I found it's hard for me to collect it. And it's just not quite right because you have everybody else's baggage that owned the car before. And so to me, this paint to sample Brewster Touring, I don't know how special this ends up being long term, but to me, this is the kind of thing that I'd like to collect and have for the foreseeable future. And so that's a large percentage of the reason why I'm kind of taking my time and doing this ridiculous crap of my way of owning a car. So although I will drive this, I don't intend to drive it a ton and keep it like a special thing. Again, kind of like having a special watch that you don't wear everywhere. You're kind of collecting it for the long term. At least that's how I'm thinking about it at the moment. All right, so we wipe this clean, or flat, level, I should say. Once the rotor hat's done, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. The wheel wells, I think, is kind of a dumb, kind of pointless to coat, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Pretty. Okay, so let's turn the light back on here. Take my surface prep, spray the plastics. So we're gonna put some, I don't know if this is the right product for this, but we're gonna put some Vonix engine coating on here, which I would think is set up for higher heat situations. So I'm going to use that on this area. I know you can't see this, but I'm not doing anything special here. All right, so I'm going to use, so this is the stuff right here. I'm going to use this on an applicator. It's the same thing, has a little dropper. Put a bunch on here and slop it on the plastic. Again, I don't know how long this will last, but maybe it'll help it rinse off a little better. This dropper isn't very good. This is one of those things, it's almost more about making it feel good than anything, but I figure why not? I want to try this stuff, see if it can work in this really extreme application here. See how it does. All right, so we're coated in the wheel wells. Nice. So next step for me, I'm going to put the second coat on, and I'll come back to you and we'll reinstall. That's it. Okay, I'm done. Now I'm going to dress the tire on the car. It's just a little easier to do that. So let's do our optimal paste. Just a little bit here. I forget if the procedure calls for you to coat the face of the wheel here, but I'm doing it anyway. Just a real thin, even layer. So then you should check your threads. So a little bit here. Just a little bit to the threads here. And then a nice even layer on the center lock. This is the key part right here. So you put it on here like this. Telling you, having the tool, the high torque tool, just makes the whole center lock thing kind of enjoyable. Because you don't damage, you know, you kind of beat up your lug nuts when you're installing them every time. Whereas we don't do that with this procedure. I'm gonna take my gloves off, ditch the gloves, put the wheel back on. Not too bad. I think this probably took me like an hour. Maybe a little less. Take this off. Kind of gone full circle back to every single one of my cars has silver wheels now, except for the Raptor. I guess the Rivian has black too, but oh. That's it. So good. So good. Oh man. Just wipe my fingerprints off here. And then put our cap back on. Find our hole goes there. Line it up. Take our coating, put some coat on the center cap, and we're done. Oh, we got to dress the tires. With this this coating, that does tend to set up on your applicator, so you would need at least one applicator per wheel. That's it. Let me get some tire dressing. A little bit of OG tire dressing on the inner part here. And flatten it out. So I'll let this sit on here, and then I'll wipe off, because I don't want it shiny, I'll wipe off the excess in a few hours to wipe it flat. Make sure I get it off the wheel. And that's a wrap. Super simple. Feels nice and slick, yeah. This is good. We'll see how it does with water and washing and brake buster and all that. Anyway, that's a wrap. So that's the coating procedure. Trying out a new product. I'll be sure to update you as time goes on and I test it out, but what a great looking setup here. Next for this car is PPF. And actually next for this car is the Focal P60 system, and then and the Helix amplifier, and then also doing I've got to put the Ed guards in and clean the leather. So do the rest. I did the door cards, but do the dash. So I'm going to treat all the leather, the dash, the doors, the rear with the Color Lock strong cleaner and leather shield. Put the Ed guards on. Get the leather shield on those as well. I got to get a radar detector for this as well. So I got to get the radar detector, and then it goes to get the PPF done. Then I'll come back. We'll coat the whole car, the PPF and all the trim, and it'll be ready for prime time. So anyway, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. Oh, got anti-seize all over me. So how did I even get it on there? No idea. See you in the next one.